Assalamualaikum, hello there. Thanks for joining me this Monday. I'm Ras Adibarazi and these are tonight's headlines. Prime Minister says no to local government elections. Tabung Haji found to have paid dividends illegally. And Datuk Sri Najib arrested again by MACC. We begin tonight's bulletin with this story. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad today said that the government does not plan to hold local government elections because it would not be conducive for the nation. He said this is because the urban-rural divide in such elections could produce unwanted results which would create strife in the country, such as race-related conflicts. According to the Premier, the outcome of the local government elections might result in conflict due to racial differences and other issues, and the federal government does not want that to happen.
No, the local council election may produce the wrong result. The urban may be different, the rural will be different. There will be conflict emphasized probably by racial differences and the like. So we don't want that to happen.
That means local council elections are not
no council election.
Tun Dr. Mahathir said this at a press conference after launching the Housing and Local Government Ministry's Local Council Convention in Putrajaya today. For the record, a local government is the administrative body for a specific local area, such as a city or a district, and is the third government after the federal and state governments. Such elections were held was in 1965. In July, Housing and Local Government Minister Zuraida Kamarudin had said her ministry intended to hold local government elections in 3 years. Pakatan Harapan had, prior to the 14th general election, suggested that local government elections might be introduced if it came to power, even though it was not explicitly promised in its manifesto. Meanwhile, Tun Dr. Mahathir said there has been a significant drop in the corruption level among civil servants since the new government came to power.
At the present moment, it is very, very low. In fact, we have not really received reports about corruption ever since the new government took over. But as you know, with the old government, everybody talks about government corruption. So in a way, we have succeeded in in reducing events, incidents of corruption. But of course, there may still be corruption which is undetected by us.
He said this in response to a question on how bad the incidence of corruption is among the 1.6 million civil servants in the country. The Premier, however, said the latest statistics on the matter has yet to be produced. He also reminded local councils to refrain from deliberately delaying the process of approving an application, as it could subsequently lead to corrupt practices. The Prime Minister said if left unchecked, this may eventually become the go-to avenue for members of the civil service to make a quick buck. In another development, the Prime Minister expressed hope that the Johor government will accept the federal government's decision that Pulau Kukup should retain its status as a national park. Tun Dr. Mahathir stated the cabinet had agreed on the matter in a meeting on Friday. Commenting on the matter, the Premier said the federal government is not an outsider and was within its right in handling the issue.
Well, that is the stand of the federal government. I hope Johor will accept. We have not touched on the Sultan. All we have touched is that the Pulau Kukup should not be developed. It should remain as a reserve, forest reserve, particularly as it is a special mangrove forest. We don't want the mangrove forest to be cut down in order to develop the island.
But what now is the status? Is it still
Yeah, it may be Sultan or Sultana's land, but it cannot be developed.
On Saturday, Johor Crown Prince Tunku Ismail Sultan Ibrahim, in responding to a statement by Water, Land and Natural Resources Minister Dr. Xavier Jayakumar on the status of Pulau Kukup, pointed out that only the Johor ruler had the jurisdiction to override the state constitution. Tunku Ismail had also stated that the minister should not meddle in affairs of the state, as the matter had already been settled, after the Sultan of Johor had consented for Pulau Kukup to remain as a national park and declared as Sultanate land. Dr. Xavier had last week said the cabinet was of the view that Pulau Kukup must remain a national park so that the area remains the second largest uninhabited mangrove area in the world. Any change in the status of Pulau Kukup would have an effect on its recognition as an area of international interest and as well as Malaysia's reputation as a country which takes care of biodiversity. Lembaga Tabung Haji TH has been illegally paying dividends to its depositors since 2014. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Datuk Seri Dr. Mujahid Yusof Rawal, who disclosed this today, explained that the dividend payments had contravened the Tabung Haji Act. According to the Minister in charge of Islamic Affairs, this is because TH had more debts than assets in the previous years. Speaking to the media at the Parliament's lobby today, the Minister cited TH 2017 financial report tabled in Parliament, saying that after Pakatan Harapan took over the government and appointed a new management team, top audit firm PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC, was hired to re-evaluate TH's financial position for 2017.
Melihat kepada finding ini, iaitu aset 70.3 bilion, tanggungan 74.4 bilion, defisit 4.1 bilion, maka dari sudut akta tabung haji sendiri, pemberian dividen atau hibah bercanggah dengan akta ini. Mana dia tak boleh keluarkan sebab hibah atau dividen hanya boleh dikeluarkan kepada pendeposit apabila aset tidak boleh aset kena lebih daripada liabilities.
Datuk Seri Dr. Mujahid also said he was confident that TH would be able to pay out dividends for 2018 based on its new restructuring plan. However, the amount is yet to be decided upon, as TH has yet to close its accounts for the year and that it would depend on the profits. He also said the cost of performing the Hajj for pilgrims would remain unchanged at 9,980 ringgit per person. On possible action to be taken against the previous TH management, he said that they would be dealt with soon. Meanwhile, TH 2017 financial report had recommended the government to initiate a comprehensive turnaround plan to address its 4.1 billion ringgit deficit. Under the restructuring plan, Datuk Seri Dr. Mujahid said that the PwC had proposed the setting up of a special purpose vehicle SPV to take over, rehabilitate and maximise the recovery of TH underperforming assets. The government also had given its approval for the management team led by TH's Group Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer Datuk Sri Zukri Samad to start a comprehensive turnaround plan in a bid to close the gap between TH assets and liabilities.
Special purpose vehicle that will take care of the non-performing assets of Tabung Haji. That will deal with that problem.
So the SPV is already in rolling?
Yeah, it has been approved by the cabinet and they will roll it to complete before year end.
He added that TH will be placed under the supervision of Bank Negara Malaysia on January 1st next year. The minister also expressed confidence that the turnaround plan will be implemented by the government as soon as possible. Now, on to the Dewan Rakyat sitting. In its bid to reduce national debt, the government is in the midst of identifying its assets which can be sold. Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng told the members of Parliament today that the government is also studying whether to rationalise companies with the same establishing mandate, closing companies with fiscal burden on the country, or disposing their interest to companies with commercial value, as well as involvement with private companies in the industry.
Kerajaan juga akan memastikan aset yang dijual kelak mampu memberi nilai terbaik atau value for money kepada negara. Di sini perlu ditegaskan bahawa kerajaan tidak akan menjalankan sebarang penjualan secara fire sale dengan izin. Kerana nilai yang paling baik harus diperolehi, bukanlah nilai yang paling rendah.
He was responding to a question on examples of non-critical and non-strategic federal government assets to be sold in the near future. The finance minister added that the disposal of government holdings in government-linked companies will take into account several factors, including value created in the company, commercial and strategic interest to shareholders, as well as the ability of new owners to bring the companies to be disposed of to a better level. After being barred from attending 2 parliamentary sittings last week, Datuk C. Sivaraj was finally allowed into the Dewan Rakyat today, following a finding that he is still a valid parliamentary representative for Cameron Highlands. The ruling was made by Speaker Datuk Muhammad Arif Muhammad Yusof, who said that the BN lawmaker was still a valid parliamentarian until disposal of his appeal against an election court decision that his electoral victory in the constituency was invalid.
Dalam hal ini, memandangkan Yang Berhormat Cameron Highlands telah menyatakan hasratnya untuk mengemukakan rayuan, perakuan tidak akan dikeluarkan oleh Mahkamah Pilihan Raya dan akan dikeluarkan oleh Mahkamah Persekutuan selepas proses rayuan selesai. Oleh kerana Suruhanjaya Pilihan Raya hanya akan mengisytiharkan sesuatu kursi sebagai kosong selepas menerima perakuan daripada Mahkamah, maka sehingga proses rayuan selesai, Yang Berhormat Cameron Highlands masih dianggap sebagai seorang ahli parlimen.
On December 5th, Datuk Sivaraj was ordered to leave the Dewan Rakyat and seek an answer from a lawyer on his status, following the court's decision on November 30th, which nullified BN's electoral victory in Cameron Highlands due to elements of corruption. Datuk Sri Najib Razak was arrested by graft investigators over the tampering of the One Malaysia Development Berhad 1MDB final audit report. The former Prime Minister was arrested about 11 a.m. at the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC headquarters in Putrajaya, minutes after he arrived for a fresh round of questioning over the issue. Datuk Sri Najib was then released about 3 hours later at 1:20 p.m. According to an MACC source, Datuk Sri Najib is expected to be charged at the Jalan Duta Courts this Wednesday with another individual whose statement will be recorded tomorrow. The source, however, declined to reveal the identity of the individual. The ex-premier is expected to be charged under Section 2.3 of the MACC Act. On November 25th, Auditor General Tan Sri Madina Muhammad said that parts of the 1MDB final audit report were removed. To date, apart from Datuk Sri Najib, the MACC had questioned several people about the report tampering. This includes former MACC Chief Tan Sri Zulkifli Ahmad in his capacity as the legal officer in the Attorney General's chambers, former Auditor General Tan Sri Amrin Buang, former Chief Secretary to the Government Tan Sri Dr. Ali Hamza, and the then 1MDB Group President and CEO Arul Kandasamy. Police have detained 7 individuals, including 2 Filipinos, on suspicion of being involved with terror groups in operations in Kelantan, Selangor, Sabah and Kedah. The raids were carried out by the Police Special Branch Counterterrorism Division E8 between November 19th and 28th this year. Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Muhammad Fuzi Harun, in a statement today, said the first arrest involved a local aged 28 in Kelantan on November 19th. He is believed to have received instruction to launch an attack in the country from one Akil Zainal, a Malaysian, who is also a member of the Daesh terror group in Syria. The second arrest, the top cop added, was made in Kajang, Selangor on November 20th, involving a 52-year-old engineer of an oil and gas company. The suspect is believed to have channeled funds to a Malaysian known as Muhammad Wandi Muhammad Jedai, who joined Daesh in Syria to finance terrorist activities in the country. Tan Sri Muhammad Fuzi also said the third arrest on November 21st involved a 45-year-old Filipino farmer in Tawau, Sabah, which was made with the cooperation of the Eastern Sabah Security Command, ESCOM. The suspect is believed to be a member of the Abu Sayyaf group, which is involved in at least 3 kidnappings in the southern Philippines and Sabah. A 35-year-old driving school employee was also arrested on the same day in Kota Baru, Kelantan, for allegedly receiving instruction to launch attack on non-Muslims in their houses of worship. The other 3 suspects comprised of a 26-year-old factory van driver nabbed in Bedong, Kedah on November 22nd, as well as a Filipino man aged 48 and his 40-year-old wife, a local in Tenom, Sabah, on November 28th. All of the suspects would be investigated under the Security Offences Special Measures Act. A man and a woman brushed with death after the car they were travelling in rammed through the wall of a building's car park and fell onto the road below in Kuala Lumpur early today. In the 6:30 am incident, the Honda Accord with the couple inside plunged from the first floor before the vehicle landed on top of a Proton Gen 2 parked on the ground. Police said both cars as well as another vehicle, a Toyota Velfire, parked nearby were badly damaged in the incident. Fortunately, the driver and passenger of the Honda Accord only suffered minor injuries. They were brought to a hospital for treatment. Investigation to determine the cause of the accident is underway. Coming up next, Egyptians rage over Danish X-rated video atop Great Pyramid. We'll be right back. I'm Ras Abdurazi and you're still with us on 7 Edition. Home Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin today reminded Malaysians to be cautious in accepting job offers abroad, besides making sure that the employment package comes with a valid work permit. He said this is to prevent them from being exploited, such as in the case of the 8 Malaysians arrested in Australia for their alleged involvement in a labour syndicate in the country.
Yang mungkin nak mencari kerja di mana-mana di luar negara macam di Australia, dia kena semak betul-betul. Itu sebab saya kata kadang-kadang ada orang menaja dan dia pungut duit dan sebagainya dengan harapan, dengan tujuan supaya mereka ini akan masuk ke sana bekerja, tapi mungkin mereka tidak memberikan maklumat yang tepat. Bila masuk ke sana, mereka tidak punya dokumen dan syarat-syarat yang ditentukan, maka mungkin mereka ditahan. Jadi nasihat saya, kalau ada pihak-pihak tertentu yang menawarkan macam-macam, mungkin daripada Malaysia ke, nak kerja, boleh pergi ke sana, petik buah satu hari dapat berpuluh-puluh dolar. Tapi bila sampai ke sana, mereka tidak bersedia dengan syarat-syarat tertentu.
Speaking to reporters after officiating the Immigration Day 2018 celebration in Putrajaya today, he added his ministry has yet to receive a complete report on the detention of the 8 Malaysians by Australian authorities. Yesterday, Australian news portal news.com.au reported that the Malaysians were nabbed following raids at 2 separate locations by Australian Border Force ABF officers. It also said 2 of them were suspected to be involved in the management of a worker exploitation syndicate with links to New South Wales. All those detained are believed to be held in an immigration facility pending their deportation. Meanwhile, the government is expected to open tender for a new system to replace the Malaysia Immigration System, or MyIMMS, which has been in use for over 2 decades. Tan Sri Muhyiddin said this was decided at a recent cabinet meeting to replace the old system with a more efficient and fully online integrated one.
Untuk menentukan supaya untuk tempoh jangka masa yang agak panjang, kita ada satu sistem yang betul-betul cekap, lengkap dan sebagainya. Mengambil contoh beberapa buah negara yang sudah pun mengguna pakai sistem begitu. Jadi dengan cara itu kita harap akan memudahkan urusan-urusan yang berkaitan dengan immigration. Dan untuk tujuan itu, Kabinet memutuskan supaya kita akan membuka tender secara terbuka, open tender. Ini akan diuruskan oleh pihak KDN bersama dengan pihak Kementerian Keuangan.
He also said the Cabinet has agreed to scrap the 3.5 billion ringgit National Immigration Control System, or SKIN, project. The decision was made based on the need for a new system that would be more comprehensive, efficient, user-friendly and of more monetary value, as well as to save government funds. Now let's hop on to our daily segment, Clickbait, where we take a look at what's trending and making rounds in the cyber world today. Now, who would have forgotten the notorious act of European foreigners who posed naked at the Mount Kinabalu summit in 2015, right? Recently, a similar act has been reported once again. Only this time, it involved one of the 7 wonders of the world. In Egypt, authorities are investigating a Danish couple after a video and a photo surfaced showing them climbing to the peak of the Great Pyramid of Giza and posing naked. In Egypt, international news agency reported the 3-minute video has sparked anger and outrage among the community, especially Egyptians, on social media. With the night skyline of the Cairo city behind them, the footage showed the young couple climbing the pyramid, which is already an illegal act in itself. Once they reached the peak, the woman then suddenly took off her shirt, while the video ended with an image of the couple posing nude, embracing each other as the sun begins to rise. Local authorities have called out the act as a violation of public morality and urged that the incident will be immediately investigated. The video, which was originally uploaded by a self-described Danish photographer, however, has since been removed from YouTube. Unfortunately, other social media platforms managed to repost the video and has since garnered at least 100,000 views. Following this, angry netizens have posted on social media over such unacceptable act as they felt the couple was disrespectful and ignorant. In Egypt, climbing permit is punishable by law, so let's hope the authorities will take an appropriate action towards the couple. Now, updated as of 7 p.m, here are the top trending topics and searches on the internet today. Kuala Lumpur Police have teamed up with CIMB Group Berhad to address the growing risk of cybercrime in the country, which has cost victims millions of ringgit in losses. The two organisations today jointly launched the Beware, Be Aware, Stop Scammers campaign aimed at educating the public and prevent them from falling victim to online fraud.
City Police Chief Datuk Sri Mazlan Lazim said the total amount of losses due to online scams reported in the capital city has more than doubled compared to a year ago. He also said they have received a total of 1,201 cases related to online fraud with losses amounting to 72.5 million ringgit up until November this year, compared with 850 cases with total losses of 35.1 million ringgit last year.
Mereka ni pandai, dia akan memperdaya dan juga menggoda kita. Itu sebabnya kat sini kita kena hati-hati. Saya minta orang ramai kerjasama bagi maklumat pada pihak kita. Jikalau ada mengenali mereka ni, sindiket ini, ataupun adanya sindiket-sindiket yang saya katakan tadi, 4 perkara tersebut, maklum pada pihak kita dan kita akan bekerjasama dengan pihak kita supaya maklumat yang kita dapat tu kita akan dapat menangkap mereka berkenaan dan mementras habis-habisan kegiatan jenayah penipuan ni. Sebab kalau tidak ada masyarakat memang susahlah kita nak bekerja sendirilah.
He added that the police have identified 4 online scams which have recorded the highest number of cases in the country, including Macau scam and African scam or love scam, as well as those which offer fake loans for online purchases. CIMB Group Chief Compliance Officer Kwan Kin Yu said the bank also views the issue of cybercrime seriously and hopes to spread more awareness on the risks it poses through the campaign, not only for its customers but the public at large.
So CIMB pun mengambil peluang untuk membuat awareness campaign, not just for CIMB customers, but also for the public, to understand the type of scams yang Datuk Sri baru mengatakan, right? So it is important that the public take notice of the types of scams that is existing in this country, so that you are not so gullible or mudah diperdaya.
Also present at the event was CIMB Group Chief Executive Officer Tengku Datuk Seri Zafrul Aziz. Members of the public are also urged to check any suspicious phone and bank account numbers via the website address shown on your screen when making any online transactions.
More after the break, Khashoggi's last words revealed as Saudi refused Turkey extradition request. Don't touch that dial.